Hi, I'm Dr. Alex Canseco. I'm a mom, a vet, and a creative. And as a veterinarian, I have to deal with situations on a daily basis where people just can't afford to pay for their medical bills. And oftentimes they are faced with life or death situations just because of that reason alone. And as much as I wish that veterinary care could be free and available to everybody, it isn't, and it's not feasible, just like with human medicine. The hospitals have to be able to pay for all the expensive equipment, medications, and staff members that they employ to keep the doors open and keep the hospitals running. So this is where pet insurance comes in. And to answer the question, is pet insurance worth getting? Absolutely. But there are a few things that you have to take into consideration when choosing the best plan for your pet. And that's what I'll be discussing in this video. So let's get straight into it. Pet insurance began in the 1800s as health insurance for livestock. The first dog insurance was introduced to Sweden in the 1920s, and it wasn't until the 1940s that pet insurance was introduced to Britain. And it wasn't until 1982 that the first American pet insurance was started, and the first pet insurance plan was taken out for Lassie, the famous film star. Now there are over 20 different pet insurance companies in the USA, and each one of them with several different plans. So there are a few limited situations where pet insurance may not be worth getting for you. For example, if you have extremely limited finances and you can't even afford to pay the monthly premium. Typically, the monthly premium starts at about $10 and can go upwards of $100. Most pet owners can expect to pay between $30 and $50 per month to get decent coverage. Another reason might be if your pet is very old or has many pre-existing conditions, but even then it may be worth it. Misconception may be that pet insurance isn't worth it for you if you're a veterinarian. And this is what happened to me. I didn't have pet insurance for my dog Lucan, and 2 years ago he developed cancer. He had a liver tumor and he had a nodule in his lungs, and he was doing very poorly. So I scheduled surgery with a specialist, and he developed lots of complications after the surgery during recovery, and he required multiple days of hospitalization. He ended up having a seizure, he ended up having a stroke, hepatic encephalopathy, so many complications, as well as a esophageal stricture, severe reflux, wasn't eating, needed rehabilitation. So needless to say, his bills were very high. And although I did receive some discounts as a veterinarian, I did end up transferring him to a different hospital because I wasn't happy with the care he was getting at the first one. And that particular hospital did not provide any discounts to me. And so the bill in the end was tens of thousands of dollars. And we didn't have that kind of money laying around. We had a little bit of savings, which we contributed to the bill, but we had to get CareCredit and we had to pay that bill off over time. Right now, Lucan is 13 years old and he's got many pre-existing conditions, and his coverage is going to be well over $300 or $400 a month. It may still be worth it, but if I had insurance for him earlier on, a lot of those costs would have been covered. To pick the best coverage, I would recommend speaking with your veterinarian first and seeing if there is a company that they like to work closely with. This can be beneficial in some cases, especially if the practice has an arrangement with the individual insurance company for direct pay. So instead of you paying for the vet bill and then submitting a claim for reimbursement, the insurance company will pay your veterinarian directly without having you put in a claim for reimbursement. And unless you have some sort of savings that you could dip into, or you have CareCredit approval, you may have to come up with a lot of money up front, especially if your pet is getting intensive medical treatment. And the insurance companies typically take 10 to 20 working days to reimburse you. Now, if you don't have the money up front, you can potentially be qualified for CareCredit, and CareCredit can help you pay out-of-pocket medical expenses for yourself or your pet, but you'll still have to be credit worthy to receive it. And the line of credit that you receive on the card may be less than the actual medical bill. So it may not even cover the whole cost of the veterinary visit. It will really depend on your individual credit rating. So most pet insurance companies will cover 70 to 90% of your vet bills. That does not include the deductible. Now, the higher the payout, the higher your monthly premium. The lower the payout, the lower your monthly premium. It's pretty simple to try and compare one company to another. You just go on their website, plug in all your pet's information, and you essentially get an instant quote. Copay is the amount you have to spend after you have paid the deductible. The premium is the amount you have to pay the insurance company every month. For example, if your bill is $2,000, your deductible is $1,000, and your insurance provider covers 80%, you will have to pay the first $1,000 of the bill, your deductible. They will pay 80% of the remaining $1,000, or $800. So there is still $200 left over. And that is the additional amount, or the copay, that you have to pay. So in total for this particular vet bill, you will have to pay $1,200. That is just the initial bill. Now, if you come back for another visit that same year, you have already paid your deductible for the year. So if you had another $2,000 bill, you have already paid the deductible for the year. So the insurance provider will cover 80% of the $2,000 bill, which will be $1,600. And your copay in this particular situation will be 20% of the original bill, or $400. So that's all you have to pay out of pocket for the $2,000 bill for future visits. The annual cap is the maximum amount the insurer will pay for the year. The lifetime cap is the maximum amount the insurer will pay for the duration of the policy. Pearls of advice. Get pet insurance as soon as you adopt your pet, before they develop any pre-existing conditions, because those pre-existing conditions will not be covered. Also, the younger your pet, the cheaper the insurance policy. You may save if you pay for the entire year all at once versus paying monthly. Some companies will offer military discounts, usually around 10%, and it is cheaper per pet if you have multiple pets on the same policy, usually by about 10%. You want to take note of the start date and wait periods for the policy. Typically, there is a 48-hour wait period for accidents, 2 weeks for other illnesses, and up to 6 months for orthopedic conditions. If you're more worried about common problems, for example, allergies, it may be best to get a lower deductible. Your pet's age, breed, and location will affect your monthly premium. So if you do have a breed that's prone to many illnesses, for example, a bulldog, then you just be aware that you probably are going to be paying more. And finally, some employers do actually offer pet insurance, and they may pay a percentage of your premium, or they may even pay the whole amount. So do talk to your employer and see if that's something that they offer. Avoid insurance policies that do the following. Don't pay for hereditary conditions. These are ones that your pet is most likely to get. They base payments on speculated costs. So for example, they might say something like, we will pay up to $6,000 for intervertebral disc disease? Well, if it costs $10,000, you're going to be forking out $4,000 yourself. Also, avoid companies that don't pay for vet exams and that exclude dentistry. In summary, it pays off to do your research, but pet insurance is worth having for most people. If more pets were insured, we as vets could offer the best possible care to all pets. If you would like more content like this, please support me by subscribing, hit the like button, and don't forget to select the bell button to be notified when my next video comes out. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!